Her father, Zach, and stepmother, Melissa, were with her the night she disappeared and are adamant that they have no idea what happened to her or where she could be.
The night Karlie went missing, she lied and said that she was going to a football game. She called me scared, paranoid. When she got into the car, her face was pale, her eyes were dilated. I only know that she smoked marijuana because she admitted that to me.
At 3 a.m., I woke up and noticed my wife was with her. Karlie was wide awake. I just figured it was the drugs.
I woke up at 7:15 and she was gone.
I full-heartedly believe that Karlie is alive.
Your theory is that whatever she smoked was laced with something else?
I feel that it was laced with something else.
Laced or
just because of the way she was
somebody
acting.
gave her something.
Did she eat anything at that point?
I made her a salad.
And she was saying strange things about the lettuce, right?
She was eating it and she was just like, "Ugh, I'm eating the devil's lettuce."
Did y'all think about taking her to the ER at this point?
You should have.
Every second of every day, I wish I had.
At one point, you filmed her, right?
No, it's all audio.
All audio. I wanted to hear that tape, but you didn't let us hear that tape.
Did anybody ask us?
I don't even think
Oh,
anybody
we
even
asked. If she left, it was between 5:30 and 7:15.
The first witness says that he saw her at 6:30.
We wanted to talk to him as well, and y'all wouldn't give us his information. Why?
No.
We asked for his address so we could talk to him.
Honestly, I'm not gonna bring them in unless they say they want to.
Y'all wouldn't even give us your address. You don't trust us or what?
It's still an ongoing investigation.
The police had never considered y'all suspects.
No.
Melissa and Zach say they have no idea where Karlie is, yet her mother, Lindsay, continues to question their involvement.
When I got the call from Zach at 9:35 a.m., I heard the words that Karlie was gone, and my heart sunk to my stomach. You know, Zach, Karlie went missing from your guys' residence. His response was, well, at least you have a alibi, you're in another state. You guys are literally labeled suspects because you're the last ones to have seen her. My suspicions about Zach and Melissa didn't come up until after I arrived at their residence and heard the audio that they had recorded of Karlie. Karlie seemed really confused, concerned about her health. You can hear her asking, are you gonna call 911? I heard her call out for Mom. I am just really scared. I did ask Zach and Melissa why they did not call 911, and her response was, she was just smoking pot, Lindsay. I think what triggered Melissa's emotional distress over all this is when I called her out on social media and I said, why don't you tell your audience about the 8-minute audio that you recorded of my daughter? It is very unsettling knowing that they refused to call for help when she asked them to. I believe there's evil in Zach and Melissa's house. I just need my little girl home. And I need to know she's okay and she's not being hurt.
What upsets me the most is that my ex-wife has accused us of murdering Karlie and getting rid of the body. My ex-wife, Lindsay, said, could Melissa have smothered Karlie?
The thing that hurt me the most is when Karlie's mom asked Zach if I would ever hurt Karlie, and I would smother her with a pillow. Are you kidding me? That I would hurt her? How dare you?
What makes you think they have something either to do with the disappearance or know more about the disappearance than they do?
I think that the audio that I heard about was really bizarre. And I asked them, I said, what is this audio about? And I didn't want to hear the audio for the first, few minutes after getting there, and Melissa saying, I have this audio. And I said, what audio? And she said, well, I audioed Karlie of her behavior. And I said, well, why did you do that? And she said, well, I wanted to show her how she was acting the next morning. And I said, okay, so audio her? I didn't understand that. So that was kind of another red flag.
And did you hear the audio?
I heard part of it.
Okay, and in the part of it you heard, was there anything significant that stuck out to you?
She had asked them to call 911.
Okay, she asked them to call 911.
The specific details in the audio were she had cried out to Melissa. She called out for my name, actually, and she said, Mom. And Melissa goes, I'm Melissa, silly. And she goes, I'm sorry. I'm just really, really scared. that point, I figured, you know, what is she scared of? Because what is so scary that this little girl's asking to call 911 and you're telling them no? And so when Karlie said, can you call 911? Melissa said, yes. There was a part where she said yes. And then there was a distant pause. And Karlie said, are you going to call 911? And Melissa said, no. And she goes, well, why not? And she goes, there's nothing wrong.
So your theory is if Melissa woke up and Karlie had passed from an overdose during the night, you're saying that she might have feared that she would be in trouble some way or liable in some way for not heeding her request to call 911 earlier. And so instead of then calling the authorities, that she or they disappeared the body so as not to be held accountable? I mean, is that what you're...
The actions that took place that morning after Karlie went missing are very questionable. She took her little boys and woke them up at 5:30 on a Saturday morning, like no big deal. And, you know, good morning, 5:30 in the morning on a Saturday, and took them to her brothers. Now, why'd she take them to her brothers?
Well, you know, she said she didn't, she corrected what she said she told the interview that she had given earlier. She said that wasn't true. If you're being so careful to not damage the investigation, why you would put out misinformation, I don't know. But nonetheless, she said she corrected that. Whatever the decision was, she said she corrected that record within 20 minutes, but they said the edit's out, it's gone, it's done. But do you know, did she get her boys up at 5:30 and take them to her brother's house?
Yes, she did.
So you know that.
She told us.
What's your theory about this, Michael?
Well, I have a reliable informant who works for the county who said that she was by there at 7:30. She goes by there every day to work, and there was nobody out at that intersection at 7:30. And she's a county employee. She reached out to me. She obviously doesn't want to get fired. But, you know, this thing has been, I'm sorry to say it, has been a circus. The Mono County Sheriff's Department has not taken ownership of this case and keeps wanting to believe that it's nothing but a runaway. And there's plenty of probable cause, you know, based on my experience, and I was a homicide detective for quite a while, that, you know, she should be listed as endangered, not runaway.
Zach deserves, Lindsay deserves, Melissa deserves for this case to be properly investigated.
Exactly.
All three of these people have an investment in this child. Now, I had asked to hear the last recording of Karlie, and Melissa says that she certainly will allow me to hear it. Doesn't want to play it for the audience, and that's, I totally get that. But I am going to listen to it and get a sense of what was going on with this young girl at the time. So just very low tech. I've got some earphones here, and you can plug them in, and I'm going to listen to this and see if we can find out.
Because I'm sick of people lying.
Turn it up a little bit. Yeah, that's very, very telling, very informative. A couple of things. Number one, she's very, very apologetic. She keeps saying that she keeps saying that she's very sorry. She probably said that 100 times, right?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. I don't think she's apologizing for what she did. I think she's apologizing for some imagined wrong. I thought you did a really good and responsible job of calming her down and not enabling her, but kind of keeping her, no, don't, that's ridiculous, don't say that. Tell yourself this, do that. With regard to 911, she said would you call 911? And you said, what do you mean? And she said, if I was dying or going to die. And you said, you're not dying. She said, if I was, would you call 911? And you said, of course I would call 911. But you're not. And she said, but if something was happening, would you call 911? You said, well, of course I would. So that's very clear. She was not asking you to call 911. She was saying, if something happened to me or was happening to me in a life-threatening way, would you call 911? And you said, of course I would. So that exchange happened exactly the way you said it did, almost verbatim. For one, I'm very glad that you made that recording because it's full of information and data. What it tells me is, as I said, this was a mind-altering drug. Somebody had laced that marijuana, or that wasn't just a meth head talking. There was more to it than that. And it would be interesting to know where that came from. And because of her degree of paranoia, it makes perfect sense to me that she would flee, that she would wake up and flee. And if she flees and gets to a highway and gets picked up, as much as you hate to think about it or say it, there aren't a bunch of Boy Scouts necessarily on that highway, which is good news and bad news. The bad news is she might well have been picked up, and the good news is they're not usually picked up to be killed, which means
to be sold.
It could be picked up and forced into the sex trade or something that, Dad, I know you don't want to think about, but it could mean that she's alive.
Yeah.
And it pains me to say that to you, but at the same time,
Oh,
it means she could be alive.
Yeah, I know.
And it could explain her being 100% off the grid because their identity is taken away. I don't know if y'all want to respond to any of the things that Lindsay said. I would really encourage you guys to do whatever it takes to understand that you're all under a lot of pressure. And when we're under pressure and we're under pain, we say things and do things that are not our normal personalities, and we hurt one another's feelings. And we have to have forgiveness in our heart and say, this situation needs a hero. And somebody needs to step up here and say, I'm going to be the hero here, and I'm going to put all of this aside, and I'm going to rally here and come together and make sure we're not leaving one stone unturned. We're going to all be pushing this rock up the hill together and not be divided. Do you have a story or a question for me? Click the link in the description and tell me what in the world is going on.